Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Hadith of the day, a man asked the Prophet, peace be upon him, what is the best thing in Islam? The Prophet, peace be upon him, said to feed the poor and greet those whom you know and those whom you don't know. Assalamu alaikum everyone. I am Dr. Marina Akhtar, PGR Community Medicine. My topic of presentation is labor law in Pakistan and issues of occupational safety in health. I am presenting this topic under the kind supervision of Professor Dr. Saira Afzal. Learning outlines labor law, need for the labor law of Pakistan, relating to the issues of occupational safety and the health and the safety provision under the Factories Act 1934, government role in the provision of labor law, training of the workers regarding workplace health and the safety issues, laws on working women and adolescents in factories and mines, International Labour Organization Code of Practice, recent updates and MCQs. Learning objective. At the end of presentation, the participants will be able to describe the labor law, its need, labor law of Pakistan relating to the issues of occupational safety and the health, International Labour Organization codes of practice and occupational safety and health administration. Labor law, why we need it. The Labor Law Act as a tool to promote workers' empowerment as well as worker protection. It regulates individual and collective employment relations. Labor law aims to correct the imbalance of the power between the workers and the employers to prevent the employers from dismissing the worker without good cause, to set up and preserve the process by which workers are recognized as equal partners in negotiation about their working condition. The labor law in Pakistan relating to the issues of occupational safety and the health. There is no independent legislation on occupational safety and health in health issues in Pakistan. The main law which govern these issues are Chapter 3 of Factories Act 1934. All provinces under this act have advised factories rule. Khyber Pakhtunkhwa and Sindh have enacted the factories legislation in 2013 and 2016 respectively. The Hazardous Occupation Rules 1963 under the authority of the Factories Act is another relevant legislation. These rules not only specify some hazardous occupation working with lead, aerated water, rubber, chromium, cellulose solutions, spring, sand blast, sodium and potassium bicarbonates, petrol gas generating plant, but also authorize the chief inspector of the factories to declare any other process as hazardous. The other relating laws are Duke Labor Act 1934, Mine Act 1923, Workman Compensation Act 1923, Khyber Pakhtunkhwa Workers Compensation Act 2013, Sindh Worker Compensation Act 2016, Provisional Employees Social Security Ordinance 1965, and the Sindh Employees Social Security Act 2016. The health and the safety provisions under the Factories Act 1934, Chapter 3 of the Factories Act has general provisions on the health and the safety at the workplace. Provincial governments are allowed to make rules under this act, and inspectors under this act also have directions in defining the rules. Chapter 3 talks about various safety and arrangement. The health and the safety provisions under the Factories Act 1934. This list is being provided just to show how meticulously labor law covers health issues. Cleanliness, the factory must be kept clean and free from odor, smell arising from any drain, accumulation of the dirt and refuse to be removed daily by sweeping or by any other effective method from floors, benches of the workrooms and from staircases and passages, and disposed of in a suitable manner. The floor of the every workroom must be cleaned at least once in every week by washing using disinfectant and where necessary or by some other effective method. Where the floor is liable to become wet in the course of any manufacturing, effective means by drainage must be provided and maintained. All inside walls, partitions, all ceilings or top of rooms, walks, sides, passages, staircases must be repainted or re-varnished at least once in every 5 years, whitewashed at least once in every 14 months. Disposal of the waste and effluents. Every factory must take effective arrangement for the disposal of waste and the effluents due to the manufacturing process. Ventilation and temperature. Effective and suitable provisions must be made in factory for securing and maintaining in every workroom adequate ventilation by the circulation of the fresh air. Secure stable temperature must be maintained. Dust and fumes. Every factory must take effective measures to prevent its accumulation in the workroom and its inhalation by workers. If any exhaust appliance is necessary for this purpose, it should be applied as near as possible to the point of the origin of the dust, fume, and other impurities. Artificial humidification. The government may, in respect of all factories in which humidity of the air is artificially increased, make rules prescribing the standard of the humidification, regulating the method used to artificially increasing the humidity of air, directing prescribed tests for determining the humidity of the air to be correctly carried out and recorded, prescribing methods to be adopted for securing adequate ventilation and the cooling of the air in the workroom. Overcrowding. Workplace should not be overcrowded. The laws require 500 cubic feet of the space for every worker in a factory. Lighting. Every factory must provide and maintain sufficient and suitable lighting, natural or artificial or both. Emergency lighting of special point in workrooms and passages to function automatically in case of failure of ordinary electric supply system. Drinking water. Every factory must provide a sufficient supply of wholesome drinking water to all employed workers. In every factory wherein more than 250 workers are ordinarily employed, provisions are to be made for cooling the drinking water during the hot weather by effective means. Latrines and urinals. Every factory must have males and females separate toilets which are conveniently and suited and accessible which are conveniently and situated and accessible to the workers. Precautions against the contagious and infectious disease. Every worker must be provided with hygiene card. The information in this card updated twice a year, January and July. After examination by a factory appointed doctor that the worker is not suffering from any contagious or infectious disease. The medical examination is free for workers and its cost is borne by the employer. If the worker is found to be suffering from any contagious or infectious disease on an examination, he cannot be appointed on work till he is declared free of disease. Power to make rules for the provisions of canteens. Government may make rules requiring that any specified factory wherein more than 250 workers are ordinarily employed an adequate canteen is provided for the use of workers. Welfare officer, a factory where 500 or more workers are ordinarily employed, the employer must engage such a number of welfare officer. A welfare officer is primarily responsible for ensuring that all the rights and the benefits are provided to the workers. Compulsory vaccination and inoculation. Worker must be vaccinated and inoculated against such diseases at such intervals as may be prescribed. These are prescribed as cholera, smallpox, typhoid. The expenses for such vaccination and inoculation are borne by the employer. Precaution in case of the fire. Every factory must provide such means of escape in case of the fire as may be prescribed. The exit doors must be locked or fastened so that they can be easily and immediately opened from inside while any person is within the room, and all such doors, unless they are of sliding type, shall be constructed to open outward. Every factory must have effective and clearly audible means of giving warning in case of fire to every person employed therein, siren or loudspeaker. Every factory wherein more than 10 workers are ordinarily employed in any place above the ground floor or explosive or highly inflammable material is used or stored, the effective measures must be taken to ensure that all the workers are familiar with the means of escape in case of the fire and have been adequately trained in routine to be followed in such cases. The factory's rules prescribe in respect of any factory or class or description of factories. The means of escape to be provided in case of fire, the nature and the amount of firefighting apparatus to be provided and maintained. Work on or near the machinery in motion. If it is become necessary to examine any part of machinery while the machinery is in motion, such examination or operation may be made or carried out only by specially trained adult male worker wearing tight fitting clothes. No woman or child may be allowed in any factory to clean, lubricate, adjust any part of machinery while that part is in motion or work between moving parts. Employment of the young person on dangerous machines. No child or adolescent under 17 years can work at any machine unless it has been fully instructed regarding danger and precautions to be observed. He must have received sufficient training in work at the machine or under adequate supervision by a person who has thorough knowledge and experience of the machine. Excessive weights. No person shall be employed in a factory to lift, carry, or move any load so heavy as to be likely to cause him injury. For adult 17 years or more male workers, maximum weight limit is 200 pounds. For adult female worker, maximum weight limit is 500 pounds. Male adolescent 15 to 17 year maximum weight limit is 50 pounds, and female adolescent maximum weight is 40 pounds, and children ages 15 years and below maximum weight limit is 35 pounds. Protection of eyes. The government may require that effective screens or stable goggles shall be provided if the work process or being in its vicinity involve the risk of injury to the eyes from the particles of the fragments thrown off in the course of the process, or risk to the eyes by reason of exposure to excessive light or heat. About 2,000 workers sustain job-related eye injury each day. 90% could have been avoided by wearing eye protection. Precautions against dangerous fumes. No person may enter or be permitted to enter any chamber, tank, wet pit, or other confined space in which dangerous fumes are likely to be present in to such an extent as to involve risk of the person being overcome thereby, or unless there is effective means of egress. Explosive or inflammable dust gas. There is where in any factory, any manufacturing process, product, dust, gas, fumes, or vapor of such character and to such extent as to be likely to explode on ignition, all practicable measures shall be taken to prevent any such explosion. Power to exclude children. The government may make rules prohibiting the admission to any specified class of the factories to be specific or to specified part of thereof for children who cannot be lawfully employed therein. Notice of the certain injury. Where in any factory an accident occur which causes death or which causes any bodily injury or which is of any nature which may be prescribed on this behalf, the manager of the factory shall send notice to such authorities to prevent the future incidents. Additional power to make health and safety rules relating to the shelter during rest. A factory where more than 150 workers are ordinarily employed, and adequate shelter must be provided for the use of workers during period of rest. Room for the children. A factory where more than 50 women's workers are ordinarily employed, a suitable room must be reserved for the use of children under age of 6 years belonging to such women. The use of such room is restricted to the children, their attendants, and the mother of such children. Hazardous operation. If the government is satisfied that any operation in a factory exposes any person employed upon it to a serious risk of bodily injury, poisoning, or disease, it may make rules applicable to any factory or the class of factories in which operation is carried on, specifying the operation and declaring it to be hazardous, prohibiting or restricting employment of the woman, adolescent, or the children upon the operation. providing for the medical examination of the person employed or the seeking the employed upon the operation, and prohibiting the employment of the person cannot certified as a fit for such employment, providing the protection of all person employed upon the operation in the vicinity of the places where it is carried on. Similarly, Chapter 5 of the Mines Act provide for the various health and the safety arrangement. There are similar provisions in Pakistan. Duke Labor Regulations and Employment of Children 1991, newly enacted child labor legislation in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, Punjab, Sindh, also provision for maintaining the safe and healthy workplace for the children and adolescents. How does the government ensure that the above mentioned provisions are followed at the workplace? All the above laws require to the appropriate government, federal or provisional, to appoint qualified individual as inspector. It is the duty of inspector to enforce these laws. The usual power as inspectors include the right to enter and inspect any workplace, taking evidence from the person for carrying out their duties. A person can't be appointed as inspector or to continue to hold the office of inspector if he or she become directly or indirectly interested in the workplace. Training to the workers and regarding workplace health and safety issues. Various government agencies like National Institute of Labor Administration Training, Directorate Worker Education provide training to the worker of these issues, and Directorate of the Duke Worker Safety and others. And special provisions on the working of the women and adolescents in the factories. Pakistan ratified the following two ILO conventions relating to the special treatment for women and adolescents in the occupational safety and the health context. The Article 2 of 45 requires that no woman should be employed on underground work in any mine in accordance with the provision of this convention. Article 23(6) of the Mine Act prohibited the employment of the woman in any underground mine. As for the young person who are not 17 years of age yet, they cannot also be employed in any part of the mine unless they present a certificate of fitness on prescribed from by a qualified medical practitioner. Labor law also limit the employment of the woman and adolescent at the night. Section 45 of the Factories Act limit the employment of the woman up to 7 p.m. or by employer arranges for the pick and drop with employees and own accord. A female worker may work until 10 p.m. Note that the term young person has been used collectively for children and adolescents. The Employment of the Children Act 1991 defined the child as one who has not completed 14 years of age, while an adolescent is defined as the one whose age is greater than 14 years but less than 18 years of age. ILO, International Labour Organization Code of Practice. These provide the practical guidelines for the workers, employers, enterprises, public authorities, and other bodies like Enterprise Safety Committee. These instruments are not legally binding. It is not planned to meant to replace the national law and regulation. It also not intended to affect the basic rights and the principle of the workers. It focuses on the certain economic sectors like the construction industry, mining, metal industry, agriculture, ship manufacturing, and forestry. It is meant to address certain health and safety issues of the workers to protect them from hazards like radiations. OSHA, Occupational Safety and the Health Administration. With Safety and Health Act of 1970, Congress created Occupational Safety and Health Administration, OSHA, to ensure the safe and healthful working condition for workers by enforcing the standard and by providing training, outreach, education, and assistance. Organization OSHA is the part of United States Department of the Labor. Now comes to the recent updates. Here's the article: the mining industry impact on the environment and sustainability, economic growth, and the social interaction and the public health, and application of the semi-quantitative and mathematical approach. These research findings demonstrate that the synth agro coal mining is potentially sustainable For environment, the toxic gases methane, carbon dioxide, sulfur are released during operational activities. Four significant atmosphere environment sphere, atmosphere, hydrosphere, biosphere, lithosphere are negatively influenced by the coal mining. Environmental pollution can be controlled by utilizing environmentally friendly coal mining operations and technologies. Plantation and ecological normalization can protect the species, flora, fauna of the third desert. The government of Pakistan, the provincial government of Sindh should strictly check the adaptation of the environment standards. Furthermore, the researchers should explore the government issues and solutions so that coal mining become a cost effective and environmental friendly energy source in Pakistan. And the next article is occupational health safety in construction industry in Pakistan using modified SERA method. Occupational health and safety OHS. The construction industry in developed country like Pakistan are not properly focusing on OSH because of the high cost of the personal protective equipment, safety training and activities. The result of RPN shows RPN risk priority numbers, that most of the accident in the construction industry in Pakistan occur due to the deficiency of PPEs, followed by electro cautions due to electrical equipment, improper way of using available PPE, and failing of personnel from elevated platforms. Similarly, the result of fuzzy topsies show that chemical and the fire hazards are the most responsible for accidents in construction industry Pakistan. Now it's time for the MCQs. MCQs 1. The International Labor Organization Code of Practice. These provide the practical guideline for the workers, employers, enterprises, public authorities, and the other bodies like Enterprise Safety Committee. It replaces option A, it replaces national and international law for the well-being of employees. Option B, it replaces the national law for well-being of employees and employers. Option C, it modified national and international law for the well-being of employees and employers. Option D, it is not planned or meant to replace the national law and regulations, and it replaces the national law of the well-being of employees. Anyone? The answer is option D. It is not planned or meant to replace the national law and regulation. MCQs number 2. Occupational Safety and Health Administration, OSHA, is a part of US Department of the Labor. OSHA was created for option A, ecological development, option B, data analysis, option C, to take record of the workers, option D, to reduce hazard, and option E, EIA analysis. The right answer is option D, to reduce hazards. Third MCQs is Occupational Safety and Health Act of 1970. Congress created the Occupational Safety and Health Administration, OSHA, to ensure safe and the healthful working conditions for workers. OSHA ensure that employees have provided with option A, job, option B, good pay package, option C, security, option D, insurance, and option E, PPE. Right answer is option E, PPE. MCQs number 4. In developed countries, the companies are focusing on the workplace safety in order to reduce the harmful result, that is harmful impact on the human health, environment, economy, productivity, society, reputation of the company. On the other hand, the construction industry in developing country like Pakistan is not properly focusing on the OHS because of high cost of PPE, safety training and activity, least interest in OHS, improper safety training, overburden of the work in the industries. Owner are least concerned about the health safety. The answer is option A, high cost of PPE, safety training and activity. According to Factory Act 1948, who is an adult? More than 15 years of age, more than 14 years of age, less than 18 years of age, completed 18 years of age, or after 24 years of age? The answer is option D, completed 18 years of age. MCQs number 6. If worker is found to be suffering from any contagious or infectious disease on an examination, he cannot be employed on work according to factory law. till he is declared free of such disease. Option B is he went for treatment. Option C is he completed treatment course. D is job type is changed. Option E is he cannot be appointed again in the same factory. The answer is option A, till he is declared free of the disease. MCQs number 7. A 23-year male factory worker carrying heavy load on the back for many days presented an OPD with backache, paresthesia, and lowered limbs. According to factory law, an adult can carry maximum weight of 50 pounds, 100 pounds, 200 pounds, 300 pounds, and 500 pounds. The answer is option C, 200 pounds. MCQs number 8 is factory worker doing overtime duty. An adult worker can up to how many hours in a day per Factory Act 1948? Option A 6 hours, option B 8 hours, option C 9 hours, option D 12 hours, or option E is 24 hours. The right answer is option C 9 hours. MCQs number 9 is labor law also limit the employment of the women and adolescents. IDNR section 45 of the Factories Act limit the employment of the woman up to only 7 p.m. If employer arrange pick and drop service, a female worker may work until how much time? 7 p.m., 8 p.m., 9 p.m., 10 p.m., or 11 p.m. The answer is option D, 10 p.m. MCQs number 10. A visit was done in a factory. It was overcrowded according to factory law. It required how much space for every worker in a factory? 100 cubic feet, 250 cubic feet, 500 cubic feet, 700 cubic feet, or 1000 cubic feet? Anyone? The answer is option C, 500 cubic feet. Here is the key of MCQs. Here is the references of my presentation and YouTube link of our channel, and thank you.